Internet technology is dominating the workplace, is dominating entertainment, is dominating everything. And if before we looked at the internet or we looked at different technologies, I'll call it digital technology, we thought, okay, it's there, can use it, 10%, 3%, 7%, people buy jewelry online. Yeah. Now, man, everybody is 100% buried in the internet. And they're using it for they have to hide at home. They got to be home, so they're using it for work. All of our people are only working with each other over the internet. The internet, or in this case, Zoom or Skype, it's like bread and butter. It's like the air we breathe. It's everything to us. So this idea that everyone is now reliant on the internet is going to cause them to use it more, and even educating your kids, even everything that you're doing. Okay, so this is like amazing. Okay, wow, it's 12:24 already. All right. So interuse and access has become a matter of survival. It's no longer a luxury. It's not just for social media. It's now becoming mainstream, and that means everyone's going to use it. So to the move to a digital world, creative destruction will empower global digitalization. And they're going to say, what are you doing? I mean, you have a piece of jewelry and you didn't put it on the web and you didn't get an image. What are you, nuts? You're not part of the universe. You're not part of the real world if you were not fully utilizing digital technology. And the move to digital technology, which was happening kind of linearly, getting more of it, we're doing it, we have time, we're going to get better, we're going to make a nicer web page. Now it's like warp speed, Star Wars, push a button, boom, you're in a new place. That's what's going to happen now. And so everyone's going to be adopting and adapting to a new digital environment. And so we can expect the jewelry business particularly to become totally, wildly digitalized. And if you're not digital, you're like, you're not in the game anymore. Okay. All right, I'm going to start talking about diamond markets now. Now we're going to get into some meat. Now, the diamond markets have been under extreme pressure because before coronavirus, coronavirus, that's why, baloney. We were screwed before. Chinese demand, 13%, 5%. U.S. imports, 28.4% down in the over half carat stuff. And I can't trust the Melly data because U.S. is all screwed up. No profitability, rough prices too high, reduced liquidity. Let me say that the diamond markets before coronavirus came up was a sick scenario, not a good situation, okay? And I can maybe show you more of that. Here you can see there's rough and polished prices. This is unacceptable. People can't make money. And guess what? There's no profitability. Why should banks give you a loan? Let's get realistic. Look at India, okay? And the U.S. imports looks the same. This is monthly stuff. February 20 was after Corona. Okay, so now that's down 50%. It'll probably be down like 80% or 90% year on year. So if we did 2.2 billion now, we're doing 1.1 billion. These are net polished exports out of India, okay? And for 2019, we're down 15. You're down 15.8%, and imports are down 19.8%. So 2019 was not a good year, and that's before coronavirus. And you can see the extent of it. 30% in November was down. A lot of problems, riots, or all kinds of problems with China and credit, etc. So we're not in good shape going into this. At least that's what I would think. That's what I understand. That's what I think. Now, take a look at this. Now, this is a real disaster. Look, polished prices from the peak. Okay, that was the peak in 2011. This is D to H, IF to VS2, Rap Spec A3 diamonds. And man, we're just really, grounding it over here, okay? We're down 50%. I can't believe we're down 50%. What kind of markets do we have? Are we, what's going on here? How could we as an industry have our diamond, and these are better quality diamonds. This is not junk. This is really not stuff. Matter of fact, junk's doing better. Why are we down 50%? What's going on? And put this in the back of your mind as we start talking about the issues that are confronting the market and maybe the solution that I'm going to have over here. So the corona effect is pretty powerful here. Retail stores just down. That's it, man. If you thought that the secret to selling diamonds was having easy availability and so people could go shopping and have a shopping experience, okay? As long as Corona's around, forget about it. Not going to happen. And not only are the stores down, the wholesalers who need to distribute to the stores are down because it's a health issue. And not only is that happening, the stock market is zooming down. I mean, gosh, you look at that stock market, it's amazing. Up and down, but up, it goes up a little and then it goes down a lot. Up a little, down a lot. I should really show you what it looks like in a minute. Okay, so you can't sell. Here's the problem. People now are frozen. They can't sell. They can't sell. How are you going to buy? And then the market freezes. It's like your gears or something it just freezes up. The thing can't turn over. The car is frozen in the morning or something. And so the only thing working is really the internet. And so we got to think about that and say, well, we got to go digital. Well, we got to figure out how can we keep moving forward, and how can we keep doing business. And maybe everybody can. If you have a retail store, or you have a pizza shop, how are you going to do it? Well, I went to the restaurants here in Jerusalem the other day. I didn't go out, but I was just driving by, say, because I had to go somewhere. And there was these signs, we deliver, home, or check us out on the internet and we'll deliver. And I'll explain to you what we've done, for example. We're in the middle of an auction right now. And so how are we going to deal with things? Because we have to change how we're doing business. And a lot of it has to do with how we use the internet. Now, this is an example of the S&P. Now, look, you got to see here, things were doing just fine. Look at this, beautiful, everything's good, America's happy. And, the stock markets were also going up, maybe not as good as America. But this is a nice, smooth ride, a little bump here, a little bump there. But now, ba-boom. Now, that ba-boom makes people think about their wealth, their money. Should they be buying expensive things? Should they be buying jewelry? Are they in the mood? Okay. So that's a real problem here. So people are starting to think, I don't want to spend money, and I want to watch my money. And so if we're going to just rely on the liquidity that could be provided by consumers, then the markets are really going to freeze. So there's a real issue over here. How do we keep these markets alive? And I am going to give a solution, believe it or not, or what I think is a solution. But look at this. Okay, this is like we're coming along. Everything's fine. Now I'm looking at things from January. So you can see the beginning of January, everything's great, 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 great. Now over here, and it's funny because coronavirus was around here too. You could have shorted the market. You could have sold your stocks, but no one paid attention. Now look and see these little jumpies? Boom, 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 boom. Very interesting. It's a steps going down kind of thing. 28%, which isn't the end of the world, but it's everybody kind of almost lost 28% of their money. That's a lot of money. Not everybody. Wealthier people who tend to buy jewelry because they tend to have money in the bank. They tend to be in the stock market. And don't forget, a lot of people in the stock market, because interest rates are like close to zero. Now they are actually over zero. But, so everybody who had any money who would be a typical diamond customer, they kind of probably have felt this because they probably invested. Here's an interesting story. What the hell with the Signet thing? The Signet's a nice company. They're nice people, not against anybody, especially the new people there as well. But what the hell is going on? 71% since January. All right, 28% of the market, 71%. I mean, you'll see in a minute. I mean, I'm thinking maybe we should buy Signet for lunch. But what will we do with it? So it's not, and I'll show you in a minute. So like, wow, what is going on with Signet? And is this the future of the diamond industry? Are we so reliant on retail that if we, this is the largest jeweler in the world here. This isn't, Joe Schmo. Are smaller jewelers better than bigger jewelers in this environment? Are they more nimble? Are they more able to do things, sell things electronically? I don't know. But if you said to me, the diamond business is based on B2C, and if B2C goes to hell, we're all going to hell. And so maybe this is the future of the diamond industry. The shares under 10 yesterday. Or not. What do we do? How do we run a business? What's going to happen to the diamond industry here? Is this our future? Now, there's an interesting story here because, there's this whole question about luxury and brands. Now, you can see that Tiffany took a hit right here. But Tiffany jumped up because someone bought them. LVMH, not just someone. But if we take a look at what's going on here, okay, they're both feeling this big drop. That's normal. But why is Tiffany going up 49% this is from January? You can see they were the same. In January 17, they were exactly the same. Okay, that's we're 3 years later. But why? This guy went up and this guy went down. Look at that, a clear separation of paths. Why did that happen? Well, I think there's a strong argument against the idea of just trying to be a store versus a brand. And Tiffany has one strong, solid brand. And that's the clearest sign to me that branding has great value and survivability. So you might say, listen, Rappaport, don't freak out. The diamond industry is not going to go the way of Signet. The diamond industry will go the way of Tiffany as long as we build ourselves in luxury products. But Tiffany only buys very narrow ranges of goods, where Signet buys a lot more. They're also narrower today than they used to be, but they buy a lot more. So if we had to rely our industry's production, manufacturing, mining, all on a few Tiffany's, there are a few, Boucheron and Cartier and all the other brands, high jewelry. Our industry is not going to, it'll become very, very niche-y, okay? Like sort of maybe Ferrari cars or Jaguar or something, It's not going to be broad-based anymore. Millions of people, they're not going to be able to play that game. So I don't think that's the solution, although it is definitely worth noting. Now look at this part. This is really freaky, okay? Look at the relationship between Tiffany and Signet over these years. So, once Tiffany's worth twice as much as them, in 2015, Tiffany was pretty much worth the same market cap, same illusion as Signet. And then, whoa, things deteriorated 5 times. In 2018 already, Tiffany had 5 times the market cap of Signet, even though Signet sold 6.2 billion and they only sold 4.4 billion. And it deteriorated further. So you got to 6 billion, 6.1 billion, and 4, there's still more. They're like 50% more than in sales. But the market cap, the value of the company, the future of the company, if you want to put it that way, 16.25 times. And then here, okay, even though Tiffany went down in their market cap, Signet got clobbered. Is that the market cap of the diamond industry, the jewelry industry? Is that what we're worth? Is our value as an industry also tanking to this degree without brands? Where should we be? How should we develop further? Where should we go? What should we do? Okay? Because that 530 million, that's really not a lot of money. Like, really not a lot of money. And so you got to wonder, maybe someone will buy them. If they bought them, what would they do with them? So it's a real question about where are we going. And this is not even because of the virus only. Okay, the virus chopped them in half and maybe, but still in all, the problems or the issues were more than just because of the virus. But the virus now is waking us up to the extent that we are forced to confront our challenges and our problems. So before we can say, put on the mind, not really, it's going to work out, let's just wait it out. Now we're kicked in the ass. Now we're slapped in the face. Like I have John who runs our thing. He's our editor, he's our publisher. He says he's from Ireland. He says someone came over and they slapped me in the face with a fish. He says, that is a very strange way to think about things, but slapping with a fish. We are now at the point where we can no longer ignore what's happening, or as Warren Buffett says, when the tide goes out, you can see who's not wearing pants. So we are at the situation now where the tide is out. And we need to think, where are we going? How are we going to deal with this? How are we going to save our industry? Okay. So I'm just pointing you, I don't know why we had this Signet and Tiffany as the extra slide there. This is just showing you the Signet prices. All right. Now, so let's take a breath. Everybody okay? I'm going to get into the third and the final part of our story right here. Now, when we look at the industry, we have to think about what are we? What makes our industry tick? And so over the years, what's happened is the old days, and I'm an old guy, now 43 years in the business. I learned in Antwerp. I remember the old diamond dealers. And there was a sense of identity. You were a diamond man. And the retailers were there, okay, it's fine, we go here. But the retailers were not really the core, the fundamental basis of the business. You had these amazing personalities and people. So are we just a B2C story? Is that what we are? Or is there something else? Is there a B2B animal within us that is like a buffer that says, hey, I'm a B2B, I'm a dealer, man, and I take care of this market. Okay? And, you look at the stock market, it goes up, goes down, but there are players who say, yeah, we make markets, we bid, we buy shares, even Signet. So it's $8 today, but it's $8. Someone is paying $8 to buy a share. Even with all the bad news, with all the current, everything has a price. And those people are willing to make a market in the product, whatever it is. Copper, zinc, oil, all goes down, who cares? But there are players there. Now, if B2C dies, does our whole industry die? Good question. Are we so hooked up to B2C that our B2B has been demasculated, decapitated, decapitalized, so that there's nothing there? It's just everything's all whatever the consumer says, whatever the retailers say, and everything else. We diamond people, we just take off our pants and we just say, that's it. We can only do whatever the consumer wants, and it's consumer centricity. It's not consumer centricity, it's consumer ownership of the industry. And the retailers, if they buy, fine. If they don't, I don't know. We'll just go back. Is there a viable B2B sector that can support the market when B2C is weak? Do we have players? Are there people who say, okay, I'll buy a diamond. I know the market's weak now. I'll buy it super cheap, but I'm going to be there for it. And I see this, for example, in the recycle business. I see people who are still willing to stand up and buy even today, and they're not afraid. And there is that dealer group that stands up there. So let's think about this a little bit. And what is the idea of diamonds? And the reason I mention this is because I talked to some high and mighty people in the industry, and they say, oh, luxury. Oh, luxury, diamonds are luxury. And I'm thinking, luxury is crap. Diamonds should be more than luxury. And so what we did was, I think the industry did was, they said, what is a diamond dream? Now, a diamond dream always incorporated within it, and this is going to be a very important point I'm going to say in a few slides, the idea that diamonds are a store of value in difficult times. The fact that diamonds are valuable, and whatever happens, you can get money for them. And if everything hits the fan, you can run away from Germany, come to America, and you can get some money. You can go to Switzerland and get some money. They're worth something. It's not like you'll see that pocketbook or something. Diamonds have value. Now, this guy Oppenheimer, okay. And you say, and they say, so the idea behind the diamonds, what is the idea of diamonds? Is the idea of diamonds, this is a luxury pocketbook. This is a luxury pair of shoes. Is that the idea of diamonds? But the idea of diamonds, when everything goes cuckoo and you get chronoed, oh, I got a diamond, I have money, I can take that diamond, I can get money. The idea of store of value during difficult times. If you get nothing else from me today, that's the question that I'm jabbing into the industry right now. That's the question I'm forcing everyone to pay attention to. Are diamonds a store of value or not? When the tough times come, do we provide a market for diamonds? Do we provide liquidity diamonds? Or do we hide under our bed? Can our industry handle diamonds and give them a fair price, whatever the competition is? Now, this idea of diamonds, think about Oppenheimer. What was Oppenheimer doing? He's sitting there in a recession, in the depression of the United States of America, 20s, late 20s. And he hires someone to come up with a marketing campaign. He wasn't waiting for the consumer and the retailer to come to him, to take his hand, to lead him to a diamond industry. He was proactively looking at diamonds and saying, I will move this thing forward. I will take responsibility for diamonds. I will promote diamonds. I am going to be a diamond man. And that's what Ernest Oppenheimer was. Okay? A real diamond man. So he didn't go to the product and sniff the consumer to decide what should be with diamonds. No, he was proactively buying diamonds all the time. He was making a market for diamonds, very cheap as it was, but he was a diamond man. He wasn't a retailer. He wasn't a luxury coochie-coo guy with a pocketbook. He was a diamond man. And now I got to think about, do we have diamond men? Now, what is the idea behind diamonds? And again, is the idea behind diamonds is a store of value. Are diamonds more than just a luxury product? I'm not against luxury. I'm not against brands. I'm not against someone that says, I can take a diamond and I can turn the diamond into a Ferrari, into a, I don't know, whatever you want to turn it into. And that's fine. That's wonderful. But is that all we are? Is a luxury product and we're not a store of value? Are diamonds valuable? Not because there's some kind of a luxury product and this month people are excited about buying luxury and they go up and they go down and they like luxury, they don't like luxury. No, are we more than luxury? Are we valuable because we're diamonds? And you got to understand, people understand that. And consumers intrinsically understand the concept that a diamond is valuable because it's a diamond. And who makes them valuable? Why are they valuable? Who stands behind diamonds? Mr. Oppenheimer is no longer around. Even his son is no longer around. I'm not complaining about anybody. De Beers does what they think is best. For free markets, Rosa does what they think is best. They're the big stakeholders. They got a lot, billions of dollars tied up in this game. But who's the house? I think these people have all gotten, I don't know, they're taking luxury like heroin or something. You know, that's it. Luxury. But what about the value of the diamond? Who's standing behind the value of diamonds? And I think we need to think about that, especially now with the coronavirus. So that's the key question here. That's why I'm here today. Are diamonds a store of value in troubled times? Yes or no? And I think it's a fair question to ask, especially if people own diamonds. So, you know, I was at I said I'm going to learn about consumers, right? So I go to Palm Beach. And I meet with, I go to Palm Beach, the show. I went to Miami show, the Palm Beach show, a lot of consumers. I wanted to see how do people think about diamonds. I gave a speech, and 120 people came. And at that Palm Beach show, I gave a talk. And afterwards, someone comes over to me, a very nice person. And she says, look, I'm 86, my husband's 91, my children don't want jewelry. Can you please help us? I said, sure, try to help, why not? Broker it, sell. And she puts down a certificate for, I say, 20 carat, the flawless. A guy went to Palm Beach. He said, there was a rich guy, an old guy that went to Palm Beach from New York City, you know. So he got to Palm Beach. He said, I learned two things in Palm Beach. He said, first of all, I learned that I'm not so old, because there's a lot of very old people there. And the second thing he said, I learned that I'm not so rich. But the bottom line is, here's a seller. So I didn't know what to say. I said, wait, now's not a good time to sell. Sure enough, I think I was right, but who knows where it'll go. But what are you going to do with these people? What are you going to do with 97 million Americans that are going to want to sell their stuff, for example? And now it's troubled times, even if it's not troubled times. Do we have a market, a viable way to provide liquidity in the diamond industry? Now, here's what I think. Diamonds are a store of value if and only if there is a viable, ethical, transparent, competitive, and efficient market that provides fair value to those seeking to sell. So if we sell diamonds and people want to resell them back to us, or if anyone wants to sell a diamond, they have to have a market, they have a place they can go where they can get a fair price. I didn't say a high price. I don't even care about the price. I just care about the fact that there's a competitive liquid price. Now, this kind of a market isn't based on luxury. It's not based on consumers. It's based on dealers. Now, the diamond market belongs to the dealers, not the mining companies, not the retailers. The dealer community, which we used to have, I hope we still have them, and they have the guts to put down and say, I'm going to buy something. And some of them have been, I don't know, seduced into the rough world, but forget about rough, buy the polish. So the question is, do we have a viable market? It is the role and responsibility of the diamond dealer community to participate in markets that provide liquidity for diamonds. We have to have liquidity, especially when times are tough, because that then really gives diamonds, that's the story of diamonds. That's the value of diamonds. You know, you want to, you say, sell the idea behind diamonds. That's the idea behind diamonds. This thing is valuable. You get into trouble, you take that diamond out. I mean, in Africa, Rolex watches, everybody knows Rolex. You have a Rolex watch. They call it a passport. God forbid there's something terrible happening, you take off your Rolex and you can maybe escape a country that's under war. That's something, you know, that's great. But diamonds also should have and have had historically that idea that I have something of value that's close to me that is going to be liquid in times of trouble. And so I'm going to say some very tough statements here. Without liquidity, diamonds are a fraud. If diamonds are not liquid, and when it comes time to sell them, the guy hides under the bed, you see the back of his head, no one's going to buy them from you, then why are diamonds better than, I don't know, synthetics, cubic zirconia? If all you're selling is fashionable flash for your cash, and there's no real story, or there's no real promise, or there's no real idea that diamonds are store value, then what makes a diamond a diamond? It's just a little stone with a little bit of sparkle. And you have a higher refractive index than cubic zirconia. And I would go even more. Without liquidity, the diamond trade is a fraud. Because people are buying it thinking that they have liquidity, thinking this is something that I can trade in when times are tough. So when times are tough, like now with the coronavirus, this is our opportunity to figure out, to step up to the plate and say, okay, guys, we're going to provide liquidity to a market. And I think that's the most important thing. So all diamonds have value, first of all. No one is flushing this stuff down the toilet. I can tell you stories. We don't have time. I want to take questions. But all diamonds have value. We're going to establish a competitive bid-ask market for diamonds. We're going to make phone calls. We're going to find out who buys 20-carat D-flows, who buys 2-carat Fs, who buys half-carat, I don't know, KI2s. I don't care what it is. But we have to create a viable, fair market for diamonds using the internet, using all the communication things that we have. It's vital that sellers know they can consistently get a competitive bid for a diamond. So if a guy wants to sell a diamond, we can't have, as an industry, hide under the bed. And we should understand bidding liquidity creates confidence, no matter what the price is. Yes, I know I can get $8,000 for something, whatever. Okay, fine. Now, here's an example. So we went on a rack net. I said, let me see what's going on. So I took 1-carat, D flawless, EVVS1. These are all the price kind of the economic term is traditional, whatever. These are price lines that you could have for different qualities or different levels of diamonds. Okay. And I said, show me one of each. Rapport A-Spec A3. Okay, there's faint fluorescence, some of them, but it's a nice stone. Nice stone. And here it is, $8,000, 55 below. Somebody give me $1,000, $2,000, $500, $5,000. These things have to start selling. And we have to pull together as a community of dealers. Now, I'm not saying every dealer has to do this. I'm not saying retailers have to do this. I'm saying as an industry, the players, the people who have a stake in the diamond industry have to go out there and they have to start playing this game. They have to start thinking, well, I'll buy it if it's cheap enough. Yeah, I'll make a bid. Just bids. That's all it was, bids. And you look at the different prices. Okay, this is the best price in random. Okay, maybe they're crazy. But here's another price that's based on the 10%. And you probably have 50 or 100 diamonds in each, maybe 500 diamonds in each one of these categories. And we take like the 10%, they're less expensive, and they do the average. So this is a pretty good indication of pricing. And I'm sitting back here and I'm going to start talking to my team and say, guys, can we get bids for these things? They're good prices. Someone, is anyone in the world who would buy a D flawless? What price? What's the price today for D flawless? Not the price for a seller. What's the bid? Bid. Right? So that's how I'm thinking. Now, so first of all, let me stop for a second, and I want to make this point clear to everybody. We have to have liquidity in the diamond markets. Not even a question. And that is the challenge before us. If we have liquidity in the diamond business, everything will be fine. If we don't, then we're going to have serious problems about what is diamonds. Consumers are going to say, I'm never going to buy this again. I can't sell it. It's just, and even as an industry, I feel terrible. People buying diamonds, but the idea that they can sell them and no one's willing to buy them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to marshal together all the forces of those people who can buy. Maybe they're speculators, maybe they're whoever they are, and say, guys, could you please help us to create bid prices for diamonds? And I don't care if they're low, that's fine. And so that's where I'm going to be putting a lot of effort in the weeks ahead to help us pull out of this thing. So people know, okay, there's a market. I like the price. I don't like the price. I want to sell. I don't want to sell. But they know there's a floor to the market. We're not hanging in the air here. And to me, that's like a very important concept. Here's a little cute thing that I learned from the 2008 debacle that the diamond industry went through. Okay, how do you make money in a downward moving market? I think we showed you we showed you, for example, where was that over here? You see this here? There's a signal. You see this here? This is a downward moving market. And you see little jumps, but not always you're going to find the jumps. You could have even a straight line downward moving market. How do you make money? I wish that I was at a regular speech. I would ask everybody, you guys tell me, someone tell me. But this is now on the internet, and I have to learn how to use it better so we can do that. I'll tell you how. First of all, don't freeze. What happened in 2008, I saw people who were dealers, big dealers, and they froze like a deer caught by the headlights of a car. Froze right in the middle of the street, smacked into the car. Don't freeze. No freezing. I want you to understand that the value of your inventory is replacement cost. So let's say you buy something for $10,000, diamonds, jewelry, and you see that it's for sale in the market now at $7,000, which isn't that crazy. The stock market went down 27%. And you go, oh God, look at that. Market's sit there and I can't do anything. I better just not do anything, leave the goods in the safe and wait, which a lot of people did in 2008. Came along some smart Indians and they said, hold on a minute. If the market was at, cost me 10, and the market's giving me replacement at 7, I'll sell for 8. So they took something that cost them 10, they sold it for 8, and they replaced it with 7, and they put $1,000 cash in their pocket during the worst times of the world. Interesting. So sell below your cost. You understand, your cost is your replacement, because after they did this for months, they ended up with a lot of good customers, and they had the same inventory. They kept replacing their inventory. Didn't make a difference. So they had, and then when the goods went back up, they had the same goods. They were not hurt by doing this. So sell your below your cost, replace, and make money. This would be very good advice to people in a downward moving market that I would share with you. And I was talking to this banker, and the banker said to me, he said, as long as my client is breathing, I don't bury them, him or her. I'm not sexist here. And so that's kind of interesting. In other words, if you're in the game, if you're not frozen, if the diamond industry at the dealer level is not frozen, and I don't expect retailers to kill themselves here, although they probably should buy stuff cheap if consumers want to sell to them. But this idea that you keep breathing, that you keep trading, that you buy, you sell, if you can. Today, I understand all the bourses are closed, right? But if you can, over the internet, this would be a good way to think about how you're going to survive, how you're going to go further, particularly dealers who have this capability. Replace your inventory if you can sell. If no one wants to buy anything from anyone, that's another story. But you want to think about that. You want to not freeze. Moving into the future, and now this is just standard stuff. I'm almost done, okay? And I will get to the people raising their hand. I am sorry, we will have time to do that. I can stay around a little more than the hour. Embrace the future, and you can own it. That means you can't just be struggling to use the internet or whatever. Now, this technology stuff, I get all these people showing up and they go, oh, I have technology, I have imaging, I have this, I'm going to take over the market. No, it doesn't work that way. Technology alone is just a tool. It's like a phone. It's like a fax machine. It's like whatever, Not going to replace the business. The skill of craftsmen, negotiating, struggling, hustling, passion of the salesperson, all that is vital. You can use technology. I can use a telephone, or like you use Zoom, or like you use today Skype, but that's not going to make your business, okay? You have to be the diamond guy, the jewelry guy, the person who really understands the product. So we're not selling technology. We're selling beautiful diamonds and jewelry to loving people. You got to remember that. So our ability to optimize use technology and adapt such use to our needs and the needs of our customers is the key. Adapt it, but don't marry it. Don't put technology, now especially everyone knows technology, oh, that's my business. I'm going to be a technology guy. That's going to save me. It won't save you in the diamond and jewelry business unless you really become a technology guy, startup. So the big idea is that the real idea behind diamonds is that they are a store of value in troubled times. I'm not willing to walk away from that. Our ability to provide liquidity to customers is the key to survival of the diamond industry. If you ask me, what do we need to do now? What's the test? What's the one thing we have to do? It's provide liquidity. Fashion and luxury may come and go, but the value of diamonds is forever.